Somewhere in the US right now, an EV owner is sitting on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck. The car is not dead, the battery is fine, they got a minor fender bender, and there is not a single certified body shop within 40 miles that can legally work on it. That is not a freak story anymore, it is becoming routine. America is pushing EV adoption as hard as it ever has. Federal subsidies, state mandates, manufacturer commitments, billions in charging infrastructure. The message everywhere is, buy electric now, and for a lot of buyers, that pitch sounds like the right move. Lower fuel costs, cleaner emissions, cutting-edge technology, the case looks solid on paper. But underneath all of that momentum, there is a problem the industry is not talking about honestly. Not the manufacturers, not the dealerships, not the politicians signing the mandates. Nobody in that conversation has a financial reason to tell you what we are about to tell you. The repair system is not ready. There are not enough trained technicians. There are not enough certified body shops. Insurance companies are raising premiums and in some cases, quietly dropping EV coverage entirely. And damage that would cost $4,000 to fix on a regular car can jump to $20,000 or trigger a complete total loss because the battery pack sits underneath the floor and any meaningful contact with it changes everything about the repair equation. This is not an argument against EVs. It is a clear look at what buying one actually means in 2025, specifically if you live outside a major city, if this will be your only vehicle, or if you are shopping for a used EV thinking you found a bargain. Because for a lot of American buyers in a lot of American zip codes, the risk profile right now is higher than anyone is being honest about. If you are thinking about buying an EV or you already own one, this is probably the most useful thing you will watch this year. We cover real ownership costs, repair realities, and the buying decisions that actually protect your money. Hit subscribe before you keep going, because most car channels are not going to tell you this. We do it every week. Now here is what the data actually shows. Start with the numbers because they are striking. There are roughly 900,000 automotive technicians working across the United States right now. That sounds like more than enough, but fewer than 40,000 of them hold any EV-specific certification from ASE, the Automotive Service Excellence Board, which is the main credentialing body for mechanics in this country. Do that math and you get less than 5% of the entire U.S. mechanic workforce certified to work on the vehicles that Washington and Detroit are telling you to go buy. Here is why that gap is a real problem and not just a statistic. A high-voltage EV system runs anywhere from 300 to 800 volts depending on the platform. That is not something any mechanic can approach with standard tools and basic training. High-voltage systems can kill. The industry knows this, which is why there are strict rules around who can legally and safely work on them. Most high-voltage EV components, battery packs, inverters, motor controllers, high-voltage wiring can only be serviced by certified technicians using specialized diagnostic equipment. That neighborhood shop you have trusted for 15 years, the one that has handled every oil change and brake job without issue, almost certainly cannot touch most of what goes wrong with an EV, not legally, not safely. What that does to your ownership experience is significant. Your repair options are not just limited, they are funneled. You are almost entirely dependent on the brand's own authorized service network, Tesla service centers, Hyundai certified dealers, GMZV service locations, and those are not distributed evenly across the country. In major metro markets on the coasts, you may have a few options within a reasonable drive. In rural Tennessee, rural Nebraska, or rural New Mexico, you may have one option and it may be 90 minutes away with a weeks-long service backlog. The technician shortage is frustrating. The collision repair situation is where it gets genuinely expensive. There are approximately 40,000 body shops operating in the United States. When a regular gasoline car gets rear-ended, sideswiped, or catches a curb, most of those shops can handle the repair. Parts are available, the process is familiar, and turnaround is usually measured in days. EV collision repair is an entirely different category. It requires specific training for handling high-voltage components safely during body work. It requires specialized equipment, and in many cases, it requires a formal certification agreement with the specific manufacturer agreements that cost shops time and money to pursue, and that many shops have simply decided are not worth it. The result is that a significant number of body shops across the country will not take EV repair work. They do not have the certification. Some have tried and decided the liability is not worth the business. When an EV owner has an accident, they often cannot take the car to the nearest shop. They need to locate one of the EV certified collision centers in their region, which may be booked out for several weeks and may not be anywhere near where they live. Mitchell International, which tracks repair data across the industry, found that average EV collision repairs in 2023 ran 25 to 30% higher than equivalent repairs on gasoline vehicles. On a repair that would run $3,500 on a regular car, you are looking at $4,500 to $5,000 on the EV, and that is before any battery involvement. The deeper problem is what happens when the battery does get involved. Most modern EVs position the battery pack along the floor of the vehicle. It is a flat slab running from front axle to rear axle beneath the cabin floor. That placement is smart engineering for weight distribution and handling. It is terrible engineering for accident protection. Even moderate undercarriage contact, debris impact, or a side collision that reaches the lower door sills can compromise the battery housing or trigger safety sensors that require full battery inspection before the car is cleared to drive again. Once that inspection is on the repair order, the estimate can go from a few $1,000 to $15,000 or $20,000 almost immediately. At that number, for many used or mid-range EVs, the insurer declares a total loss not because the car is mechanically ruined, but because the repair cost crossed the threshold of what the vehicle is worth on the books. There are documented cases of Rivian owners receiving repair estimates over $40,000 for what appeared to be moderate collision damage. Rivian's aluminum-intensive body structure and integrated battery placement make even structural repairs extraordinarily expensive. This is not unique to Rivian. It is a structural reality of how modern EVs are built. The insurance side of this is already moving, and it is moving against buyers. In 2024, Insurify reported that EV owners pay an average of around $206 per month for car insurance. A comparable gasoline vehicle averages around $148 per month. That is a gap of roughly $58 a month, nearly $700 a year just to insure the car. Before you ever file a claim, before you ever see a shop, that premium difference directly eats into the fuel savings that most EV marketing leads with. Beyond the premium increase, some regional carriers have started pulling back from EV policies entirely. After absorbing significant losses on battery-related claims, particularly total losses caused by relatively minor collision damage, some insurers have decided the risk profile on EVs does not match their pricing models. They are quietly raising rates or declining to renew EV policies in certain states. The manufacturer will not tell you this at the dealership. The federal government will not mention it when they talk about EV incentives, but it is happening in real markets right now. The operational consequence for you as a buyer is this. If your insurer does not have established relationships with EV-certified repair vendors and does not have experience handling battery claims, there is a meaningful chance they default to totaling your vehicle rather than navigating a specialty repair process. That is a particularly bad outcome if you paid $50,000 for a car that is still structurally sound and electronically functional, but sits on a repair estimate that crossed an arbitrary threshold. It is worth being specific about who is most exposed to these problems, because it is not who the media tends to cover. The EV owners with the most options are in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, Denver, and New York. Tesla service centers are nearby. EV-certified body shops exist in their market. Their utility rates are competitive. Their infrastructure works. For those buyers, the picture is reasonably manageable. The buyers absorbing the most risk are in rural America. Think about a buyer in central Mississippi, or a rancher in Wyoming, or a family in rural West Virginia who commutes 45 minutes each way to work. These are people who need one reliable vehicle for everything: work, errands, medical appointments, emergencies. They bought an EV because the $7,500 federal tax credit made the sticker price look accessible, and because the government told them this was the right direction. But the tax credit runs out at purchase. It does not pay your repair bill 18 months later. It does not find you a certified technician when the nearest one is 90 miles out. It does not stop your insurer from totaling a car that suffered a scratched battery casing on a back road. Used EV buyers have a specific version of this problem that deserves direct attention. EV prices dropped significantly from their 2022 peak. A used Tesla Model 3, a used Chevy Bolt EUV, a used Nissan Leaf, these are priced more attractively right now than they have been at any point in the EV era, and that is genuinely good for buyers in some situations. But a large share of those used vehicles are now approaching or past the end of their original battery warranty, which covers 8 years or 100,000 miles for most brands under federal minimum standards. If you buy a used EV just past that warranty threshold and the battery is already showing degradation, losing significant range, charging more slowly, dropping to 70 or 75% of original capacity, you are looking at a replacement cost that runs anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 completely out of pocket on a car you bought thinking you were getting a smart deal. Here is how it actually stacks up when you run the numbers straight. Say you find a used EV priced at $32,000, a reasonable used market figure for a 3-year-old mid-range EV in decent condition. The $4,000 used EV federal tax credit under the Inflation Reduction Act brings your effective cost to around $28,000. The fuel savings are real and worth counting. Home charging typically costs $42–70 a month compared to $122–200 a month on gasoline for the same driver. That is a genuine saving of roughly $1,000 to $1,600 per year. Now factor in the insurance premium gap. If you are paying 40% more per year to insure the EV, that is roughly $800 to $1,200 annually in extra premiums compared to an equivalent gasoline vehicle. That alone cuts your fuel savings nearly in half. One high-voltage repair, even a relatively routine one involving a software-linked sensor or a thermal management component, runs $2,000 to $5,000 at an authorized dealer because your neighborhood shop cannot touch it. Stack one of those against 2 years of fuel savings and you are close to break even before anything serious has happened. And if you have a collision that involves the battery pack, the math collapses entirely. You could be looking at a total loss declaration on a car you have owned for 14 months. The savings story EVs are sold on depends on an unusually clean ownership experience. The math requires that you never have an accident, never need a specialty repair, always charge at home, always live near a service center, and never run into an insurer who does not know how to handle an EV claim. That is a long list of conditions to hold simultaneously. EVs are not a bad purchase across the board, that needs to be said directly. If you own your home and can charge in your garage overnight, the daily experience of a full battery every morning is genuinely useful in a way that is hard to replicate with gasoline. You never think about fuel. You never stop at a station. Your cost per mile driven is real and meaningfully lower than gas in almost every U.S. state. If you are within 25 or 30 miles of a brand-authorized service center, your repair access is workable. Tesla, Hyundai, and GM have all expanded their service footprints noticeably over the past 2 years and parts availability has improved. If the EV is a second vehicle, not your only car, your exposure drops considerably. The service wait and the parts delay are an inconvenience, not a crisis. You have a backup while the EV is in for service. You are not stranded and not paying for a rental while waiting for a specialty component to arrive from overseas. For buyers in California, Colorado, Washington, New York, and similarly infrastructure-rich states, buying an EV today is a genuinely reasonable decision. The charging network is dense, certified repair shops exist across the market, and state-level incentives in some cases stack on top of the federal credit. But if you are in a rural state, buying your only vehicle, and the nearest authorized service center is over an hour's drive, this is not the right time. The infrastructure is not there yet. You are not being overly cautious by waiting. You are just being honest about what the current support system can and cannot do. Used EV buyers need to do one thing before committing to any vehicle. Get a battery health report. Services like Recurrent Auto pull real battery data on many EV models using actual charging records, not just estimates. A used EV that has already degraded to 75% capacity is not a bargain at any price. It is a battery replacement you are about to finance, and you will pay full out of pocket on it. New EV buyers. Before you sign anything, call your insurance company and ask to direct questions. Do you have EV-certified collision repair vendors in my area? And how do you handle claims that involve battery inspection or replacement? If the person on the phone cannot answer those questions with specifics, that is your answer. If you want meaningful fuel savings, lower long-term maintenance costs, and a vehicle that nearly any qualified mechanic in the country can service without a specialty certification, a hybrid makes more practical sense for most American buyers. In 2025, the Toyota RAV4 hybrid prices between $30,000 and $40,000 new, gets around 37 to 40 miles per gallon combined, and can be serviced at Toyota dealers and many independent shops across every state in the country. The Camry hybrid runs $28,000 to $35,000 and has one of the most reliable drivetrains in the mainstream market. The Honda CR-V hybrid sits in the low to mid-30s and carries Honda's long-standing reputation for parts availability and service reach. The Ford Maverick hybrid starts below $25,000 and gets around 42 miles per gallon in city driving, numbers that rival some EVs in real-world cost per mile. None of these require a charging station. All of them can be serviced at hundreds of certified shops across rural America. Their parts supply chains are mature and proven. Their resale values are among the strongest in the market. You do not get the EV tax credit on most of them, but you also will not get a $20,000 battery replacement bill or spend 3 weeks waiting for a specialty part that has to ship from overseas. The EV repair crisis is not a reason to panic if you already own one. It is a reason to be honest about what this market actually looks like for buyers today and what it is going to cost you if things go sideways. The technology works, the driving experience is genuinely good, the long-term direction of the industry is probably right, but the country is selling these vehicles faster than it can build the technician workforce, the certified body shop network, and the insurance infrastructure to support them. That gap does not show up in the marketing. It shows up in your wallet in higher premiums, in unplanned repair bills, in total loss declarations on cars that should have been fixable. Buy smart, know what your local market can actually support before you commit, and if the infrastructure in your area is not ready yet, choosing a hybrid that works reliably right now is not settling for less. It is just the more grounded decision until the system finishes catching up.